Hey guys, Youngblood with you, and in today's video we're going to kind of do a follow-up to what we did with picking the right space brothel and do a video on picking the right space drug lab ship. Now it's probably worth pointing out that we don't really know much about what we're going to be able to do with drugs in the game, at least with the creation of them. So mostly this is going to be in jest, but I think it's still going to be interesting to talk about. Now the criteria for these recommendations is based around having a ship that lets you grow or create drugs, because otherwise you're really just talking about like the cigarette boats of space, which a 350R would be an obvious choice. Or if you wanted pure carrying capacity, nothing is going to touch the whole E. But that's essentially a transport job, so we're going to focus on just talking about labs. And I think the smallest and cheapest drug ship starts and ends with the Reliant Sin, which is the researcher variant of that ship. Now its focus is not on exploration like a lot of people think it is, but it's about using the equipment within the ship to do research on the materials if you have them, or using the sensors to scan the area around it. And I think that equipment and the workspace that you have available are the keys to your success of making your drugs on this ship. If you're able to analyze and work on materials, you're probably able to whip up a little space meth or color, and you should probably be able to generate some pretty sweet stuff that's going to end up making you a little profit. In addition, you get the unassuming looks of the scientist role. And I mean, really, who's going to want to take a look at your little science vessel and think, this guy's making drugs? No one. That's who. And when you can get the equipment you need wrapped in the cover of disguise, you're set to be pretty successful. Now the next ship is actually probably one of my favorite ships for this role, and that's going to be the Cutlass Red. Now why an ambulance? That's a good question, because much like with the Reliant, you get some smoke and mirrors going on with the ship. People are going to look at you like you're out there trying to help the medical world, and if you're talking about being a mobile space weed dispensary or being able to recover junkies who OD on your ship, then you certainly have those tools available to you. In addition, the Red has a nice workspace in the middle with medical supplies and storage, and the tools you have on board with that should be able to make some pretty terrific modularity on the ship. Could result in you being able to kind of create some goods, different types of drugs for sale. Now I'm assuming the lasers used for fixing up injured people would also come in handy to mix chemicals, and with vials, beakers, needles, and who knows what else, the possibilities are there. Now, if you really want to go full Walter White or Pablo Escobar, then I think you go straight for the Endeavor. Now, sure, the CIG can sell this ship as a hospital or a research lab or a science vessel, but I know the true purpose, and that's a space mega drug lab. I mean, look, if you've got biofarming pods to grow natural products like spaceweed, you've got the science module to create hard or synthetic drugs, you've got the landing pad to send out your dealers or to allow people to land and partake on board, you've got the super collider for creating the most powerful drug available. I mean, just think about it. You just made some sweet space meth? Great. Now take it into the collider and play with the atomic makeup and create something newer, more powerful. And then to top all of that off, you've got the medical facility on board, where if someone overdoses on board, you can fix them up to keep a loyal customer, or alternatively, take them out to the airlock in the landing pad, kick them out into the vacuum of space, and then you keep their ship. I'm just saying, this ship gives you everything that you need to run a little drug empire, and a little more. So if you have aspirations of greatness in the drug world or really starting a cartel, the Endeavor is your endgame. Now, there's a couple other ships that I think could work well, like potentially the Constellation Aquila or the Carrack, or maybe even the Retaliator once you can swap out more modules on the inside. But I think if you stick to the three recommendations I mentioned before, you're going to be well on your way, kid. So if you have any other pseudo-kidding, pseudo-serious categories like this that you want to see, maybe like picking the next blank, feel free to throw them out there because they're kind of fun to do. And we can kind of keep this going in a little bit of a series. Otherwise, put your recommendations for the best space drug lab in the comments. Stay tuned for a whole lot more content, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.